I met my girlfriend in November 2019 at a local coffee shop. We clicked instantly. She was smart, independent, and had moved here from overseas for work opportunities. I was 25 then, she was 31, but the age gap never bothered us. We moved in together after dating for 2 years. She worked at a remote mining site, 8 days on, 6 days off. I had a regular office job, working 9 to 5. We both made good money, and I helped her with her work visa application since she wanted to stay in the country permanently. We applied for the partnership visa in late 2021. Living together showed our differences. I'll admit I was immature, spent too much time playing video games, and barely helped around the house. She was incredibly organized, kept our place spotless, and cooked amazing meals. My mom had always done everything for me, which didn't help. I wasn't completely useless, though. I managed our finances well and made sure we were secure. We rented for 6 months before buying our own place in October 2022. She started her mining job in January 2023. I still didn't do much housework, but I learned to cook basic meals to feed myself while she was away. Instead of cleaning, I spent time learning about investments because she was interested in building wealth. I created detailed financial plans for our future. Everything changed in April 2023. She broke down one night, telling me how stressed she was coming home after 8 exhausting days at work only to handle all the housework alone. That was my wake-up call. I started doing my share, vacuuming, mopping, laundry. I made sure the house was clean when she returned from her shifts. But other problems emerged. Our intimacy disappeared. She stopped taking birth control pills because of side effects, and when I bought condoms, she hid them. She even suggested some experimental male contraceptive that I wasn't comfortable with. I refused to risk pregnancy, so our physical relationship ended. Despite keeping up with housework and trying to be a better partner, things got worse. She stopped cooking for me, avoided my touch, and turned her cheek when I tried to kiss her. I was desperate to save our relationship and ignored these warning signs. Then came September 2023. I was cleaning my computer room and needed to use her laptop. That's when I found the messages, explicit conversations with a younger guy from her work site, going back to July. When I confronted her that night, she said she was stressed with work and had fallen out of love. I couldn't understand. She had loved me when I was irresponsible, but now that I'd grown up and changed for her, she didn't want me anymore. I ended things immediately. She suggested staying friends, but I knew that wasn't possible. Her visa situation complicated things. She needed my signature for permanent residency by December. I refused to sign and risk legal trouble, but I hoped she'd find another way to stay. The immigration department could still approve her application, though she risked losing her job and savings if they didn't. I spent nights crying in our empty house, mourning the future we'd planned together. Moving back with my parents seemed like the only sensible option. Staying alone in the house we'd shared just hurt too much. The life we'd built was gone, leaving me to figure out who I was without her. The first few months after discovering her affair were the hardest. Living alone in our house, I kept thinking about how someone so intelligent could make such a terrible choice. But with support from my family and friends, I started handling the practical matters. I sold our joint investments and split the money. I bought her share of the house, making it completely mine. I informed the immigration office about our separation and withdrew my sponsorship to protect myself legally. While all this was happening, she tried to win me back in strange ways. She'd come by when I was at work to make the bed or do laundry. One time she bought me a bunch of snacks. Another time she offered me a ride home because it was drizzling. I messed up the bed whenever I found she'd made it, though I did eat the snacks. But these gestures meant nothing. They came from guilt, not love. Where was this attention in the months before I found out about her affair? About her visa situation? She called me one day saying the immigration office approved her application. I didn't know if it was true, and honestly, I didn't care anymore. My concern for her future had faded with each passing day. By December 2023, I moved back to my parents' house and rented out our old place. I kept busy, met friends regularly, tried new video games, learned cooking, started going to the gym, and even picked up 3D modeling as a hobby. Each day got easier than the last. As my feelings for her faded, I started seeing things more clearly. I remembered how she'd come home and criticize every little thing just to make herself feel better about cheating. The way she'd turn her face when I tried to kiss her in those final months broke my heart every time. Sometimes she'd sit on the bed with her laptop and act like I wasn't even in the room when I came home from work. The pain was still there, but it wasn't controlling my life anymore. I had better things to focus on and new people to meet. The future I'd planned with her was gone, but I was starting to see that maybe that wasn't such a bad thing. Looking back, I realized she checked out of our relationship long before I found those messages. The signs were there, the emotional distance, the lack of physical intimacy, the constant criticism. But when you're in love, you make excuses for everything. You tell yourself things will get better if you just try harder. I started appreciating my alone time. The quiet evenings at my parents' house became peaceful instead of lonely. I could cook what I wanted, watch what I wanted, and didn't have to worry about someone judging my every move. The house I now rented out became a source of income instead of a reminder of what I'd lost. My friends kept telling me I seemed different, more confident, more relaxed. They were right. Without the constant pressure of trying to please someone who was never going to be satisfied, I could finally be myself. The guy who enjoyed video games but also knew how to keep a clean house. The guy who could manage investments and cook a decent meal. I wasn't perfect, but I wasn't the immature person she tried to make me believe I was either. I started seeing more clearly after moving back with my parents. The healing wasn't instant, but each week felt better than the last. My gym routine became consistent, and I could feel myself getting stronger both physically and mentally. My friend Jake, who went through something similar last year, became my workout partner. Having someone who understood exactly what I was going through made a huge difference. The rental income from the house helped me save more money. I focused on my investments and career instead of trying to fix a broken relationship. My cooking improved too. I could now make more than just basic meals. Mom joked that I should have moved out years ago if this was what it took to learn life skills. Sometimes I'd get random messages from mutual friends telling me she was asking about me. I never responded to any of it. What was the point? She made her choice when she started seeing that guy at work. The same friends told me she'd post happy photos on social media, trying to show everyone how great her life was. I blocked her on everything: social media, phone, email. Complete no contact was the best decision I made. The immigration office sent me one final letter asking if I wanted to reconsider my withdrawal of sponsorship. I threw it in the trash. Her visa status wasn't my problem anymore. I heard through a friend that she got to stay in the country, but honestly, it didn't affect me either way. Winter turned to spring, and I barely thought about her anymore. I downloaded a dating app, but wasn't ready to meet anyone yet. Instead, I joined a local gaming group and made new friends who shared my interests. No one there knew about my past relationship, and it felt good to just be myself without any baggage. My 3D modeling hobby turned into a small side business. A local company liked my work and offered me some freelance projects. It wasn't much money, but it kept my mind busy and gave me something to be proud of. Jake said I seemed like a completely different person from the guy he knew 6 months ago. The funny thing is, I realized I learned a lot from this whole mess. I learned how to take care of myself and a house. I learned that love isn't enough if there's no trust. Most importantly, I learned that sometimes losing someone who doesn't respect you is better than trying to keep them in your life. Last week, I ran into her friend at the supermarket. She tried to tell me how sorry my ex was, how she regretted everything. I just smiled and said I hoped everyone was doing well, then walked away. A year ago, those words would have meant everything to me. Now they meant nothing. I still live with my parents, but I'm saving up to buy a smaller place for myself. The house I own is bringing in good rental income, and my investments are doing well. My life isn't perfect, but it's mine, and I'm actually happy with it. To anyone going through something similar, it gets better. Focus on yourself. Go to the gym, find new hobbies, spend time with family and friends. The pain doesn't go away overnight, but one day you'll realize you haven't thought about them all day, and that's when you know you're healing. Looking back now, I can see that finding those messages on her laptop wasn't the end of my life. It was the beginning of a better one. Sometimes the worst things that happen to us lead us to where we're supposed to be. I'm not angry anymore, just grateful for the lessons and looking forward to whatever comes next. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with friends or family who might enjoy it too. Your support means a lot. And if you have any thoughts, questions, or story ideas, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next story.